So this is a video about classic vibe guitars. Squire top of the range guitars are actually known as the classic range, and there are 6 ranges altogether, Fender Squires. Just showing you a few of the classic vibe guitars that I have. They're all made in China. This is the blonde Telecaster 50s with the maple board. Next to it is the Telecaster that's known as the butterscotch. All of these guitars have gloss necks. A couple of Strats here on the left, candy apple red, and the 3-tone sunburst. These are known as the 60s models. And then down on the ground here we've got the 50s model, the 2-tone sunburst maple board, and the custom with the binding. So yeah, Squire make a number of different ranges. The bottom range being the Bullet, retail for about £100. Then you have the guitars that are in the packs. They're known as HE. They come with the amplifiers. They're about 150 in the packs. Then you have the Affinity range, which are about nearer £200. Most of these guitars are made, these lower end guitars are made in either China or Indonesia. And then you start getting to the decent, in my opinion, quality when you get to the standard range, made mainly of agathists, the bodies of the standard range. And they've got slightly better pickups. And then the best 2 ranges are, and the ones worth thinking about buying, are the vintage modified range, which I'm not actually showing at the moment. I have got a vintage modified guitar, but yeah, the vintage modified are well worth a look, but they're now in the UK getting close to £300 new. As always, I advise buying these guitars second hand because you get the good deals. But the top of the range, the classic vibe range, which are, these are all that I'm showing now, are all of that range, are excellent guitars for the money, and certainly the best that Squire are making. I mean, they're on a par with JV Squires of the early 80s made in Japan. It's just that the JV Squires were made in such small numbers. They only made them for 2 years. That's why they're particularly sought after. But these are as good, in my opinion, as JV Squires, these classic vibes. They've been making them since 2008, so there's a lot more of them been made, and it's a lot easier to get a good deal with them. Some of these were bought as presents for me, some were bought second hand, some were bought as trade-ins. I've got 6 altogether, and so I've actually managed to pick these up fairly cheaply, some of them. I mean, this one you were looking at now, the 50s model, that was bought new about 3 years ago for $320. It's now much near £400. Nice finish, nice board, maple board, the old style bridge, the single ply pickguard, 2-tone finish. This is very much a copy of a Buddy Holly style guitar, except that it's got the improvement on it. There's easy access to the truss rod. The original would have been down here, the original truss rod. It would be very difficult to get out without taking the pickguard off. And also the 50s, the original 50s American Strat would have had a 3 selector switch. Obviously all modern guitars have got 5, Fender guitars got the 5 selection switch for 5 positions. That's an improvement. These are, you know, classic vibe, so it's a 50s and 60s vibe with modern improvements. This particular guitar, the Telecaster Custom, it's based on a 60s reissue, Fender reissue. You can get Telecasters with the selector switch that gives you 5 positions. This is just the standard 3 positions with the top hat, but it's got a nice overall look to it. It's one of the best finishes I've seen on a Telecaster. The scratch plate is the 3 configuration. Nice binding on it. So yeah, classic vibe, all made in China. These have been made, as I said before, since 2008. Some of them they're still making. They're not making the Candy Apple Red anymore, but I think they're making all of the others still. They're changing the colour schemes on some of them. A lot of them now are coming out with the matching headstock colour with the body, which I'm not that keen on. But yeah, there's certainly, in my opinion, I've played plenty of Mexican Fenders. They're as good as, slightly thinner necks, more glossy necks, different pickups, more likely to be Alnico than ceramic. But these certainly extremely good sellers. That's why they've been making them for so long. They've got an excellent reputation on the internet. A lot of reviewers prefer them to Mexican Fenders, and they're quite a bit cheaper. Certainly if you want to pick these up second hand is where you really find the deals. I mean, I've picked up these two here on the left, for both of them were under £200. One was the 3-tone Sunburst 60s was £160 second hand, and from Pawnbrokers the one on the left here, the Candy Apple Red, I got for £140, and that was with a gig bag. So the deals are certainly there for Squires that you would never probably get for Mexican Fenders, and certainly not for American Fenders. So yeah, I would certainly advise getting these as a starter guitar, second hand. You're not going to really need. You could do an upgrade, but you're not really going to need to spend much more, even if you're a professional gigging musician, because they're good enough quality to record and play live with easily. So yeah, just really nice finishing. I like the gloss necks on them. You've got the single ply on these two Telecaster models, pickguard, brass saddles, Alnico pickups, the old style tuners, big gold Squire, which is always the giveaway for classic vibe, but some of the vintage modified range have gold on as well. But as I say, they're very good guitars as well, and certainly Indonesian made this time though. I'd certainly advise getting those if you've got slightly less money to spend, because they're not that far off quality wise to the classic vibe. But classic vibe are the best you can buy Squires at the moment. Yeah. And they have good pickups, so you don't really need to upgrade the pickups either. So it's perfect really. Okay. So 6 classic vibe models, superb guitars.